All right, so this used to be Greg's car, now Connor's car, which is a good buddy of ours.
Yeah.
Lots of history with this thing here at the shop and with yourself. So let's get into it a little bit.
Yeah, so I didn't build this turbo setup. It's a VR, 12 valve VR turbo. I didn't build this setup, my buddy Greg did, but we did supply a lot of parts for it over the years. The one thing we did do, which makes this one a little bit more unique, is we did do an all-wheel drive conversion in this thing. So this is an all-wheel drive MK4 Jetta. It's never been done with this engine setup in it, and the list of mods on this car is like miles long, so I couldn't even begin. It has everything. Everything's been touched on it. So water meth, motor mounts, pretty sure upgraded connecting rods. The turbo I think is a 62 mil. We'll put that all down in the description because I don't remember. Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
This is the second engine that's been in this car, not because anything has happened to the other one. The other one went into his Mark II.
Yeah, he has a Mark II Jetta Coupe, which the original engine that was in this was just a head spacer VR turbo, which it dynoed here when we rented the dyno one time before I got mine. It was like 385 or something like that. That engine is in his Mark II Coupe, and then he built this one and stuffed it in here. So obviously that's since been sold to another friend of ours, and it's here just to go over a few things and troubleshoot a few issues, which we fixed and found a couple things. So we're probably going to chuck it on the dyno to see what it can make for horsepower. This is just pump gas again, so 91, and we'll see what it does. I suspect 365 is my guess.
And I'm hoping more towards the 400 range.
Yeah, it really probably should be around 400. I'm being a little bit, this has been around for a very long time, so.
It's sat for quite a while as well before being sold, so there's little things that pop up every once in a while that need to be replaced, which is super common for a, 20-year-old car now?
Yeah.
Even
Greg
though
bought this new, actually, which is the crazy part.
Yeah.
He bought this new off the dealer and then only sold it like a year and a half ago, which like pretty near broke his heart to do, but he has a Mark 7R now and a drag car, so that takes all the fun.
And the Mark II Coupe, and he had a caddy for a while.
Yeah. So yeah, Clayton will go through, show you some B-roll and stuff, probably as we were talking, and it's time to disconnect the Haldex and get it on the dyno.
All right, so since you're unplugging the Haldex on this, might be a good time to talk about what was done back here exactly. It wasn't just a slap-in rear end.
Yeah, so this would have been, or not would have been, is a lot different than doing one in a Mark V or Mark VI. There's a lot more work that has to happen. The suspension points on the Mark V and Mark VI all match up, so you're literally just changing out the spare tire well. On the Mark IVs, none of the suspension mounting points mat up, so basically the frame rails, or what the frame rails would be considered in a unibody car, had to be all cut out, essentially from the back seat to the very back of the car, and has to be cut out and replaced. We used a TT pan in this one. I have a bunch of photos that Clayton took years ago when we did it. We'll overlay some of those over this so you can see kind of how much of the car needs to come apart in order to make it all-wheel drive. So this is not your typical backyard all-wheel drive swap. There's a lot that goes into doing an all-wheel drive conversion in a Mark IV. So we got the Haldex disconnected, and dyno time. The turbo is a 6262 Journal. Old C2 software, 630cc injectors. We're about to do the first pull. Just logging for sanity's sake. Obviously this car's been driven like this for a very long time, but I just want to see what it's doing for timing on our pump gas, and I'll keep an eye on boost and stuff like that. See what we can get.
Awesome.
You ready?
Oh yeah.
You're being optimistic. You're thinking 400.
Yep.
We'll see.
I hope so anyway. It'd be nice to see.
We can make it 400. We're ready to do the first pull. I think Clayton's ready, or maybe not. You ready? unplug it, and we're gonna give it a shot here. Pretty low in the horsepower department.
That was off. I was a little off.
310. So I'm gonna look at the logs and I'll take a look at the boost and see what it's doing and see where we can go from here.
What's going on now?
Well, the timing was pretty good, but the graph's pretty choppy, so I'm gonna take a look at, see if it's misfiring at all. Being a VR, they'll run down a cylinder, no problem. So yeah, we'll check and see if it's misfiring at all and pull the plugs. We're just gonna do another run with everything the same. See if there's any misfires or anything like that. Didn't seem it, but the data will tell us the truth. Sees like 20 pounds and then falls right down to 15 pounds, so that explains the lack of horsepower at what was supposed to be 20 pounds. Okay, so we played around with the boost controller a little bit. I don't think this is going to do anything for us, but we got to narrow some things down and weed out the problem, so should really be making more power than this. So we're going to work through and try to figure out the issues, make that happen. A little too much boost on that one. Boost tube popped off, my son.
Oh, did it ever? The grill flew right off.
Really? Yeah, the map's not happy.
It's right off the throttle body. I think it worked.
Well, not necessarily. Because that is infinity control. That doesn't mean it's working.
So as the footage got shaky, that was because I got a little bit frightened, but the a little stirred, but the boost tube popped off the throttle body.
A little scared.
And that's slightly because some adjustments that we made. So
well, boost controller that the previous owner said he could never get to work.
Is obviously working.
It works. So we just got to get control over it, opposed to it just going to the moon.
But again, like you were saying, how much control are we really going to have with a 20-pound spring?
Yeah, exactly. But we'll change that. It's at least we know the boost controller has some response. That's the big thing. All right, let's hope we get a little bit more boost up top. If we can narrow this down, then I don't mind turning the boost up more from here, but we just need to get a hold of making sure it's consistent. So, we're ready. A little better. Not where I want it, but it was better. Still basically same power, 328. All right. It's not good. Dental floss.
Well, Hunter did say to try to put a new belt on this.
He tried?
Yeah.
He tried, all right.
I don't know why it didn't succeed.
Yeah, he got a half one from the looks of it. So, yeah, well, we're gonna have to reconvene. Started to get a little bit control of the boost, but with the water math and the other million things going on with this thing and not being really driven hard for a long time, it's taken a while to figure it out, so more to come. Okay, so this VR Turbo all-wheel drive Jetta, the owner wants to get rid of the suitcase muffler in the rear. It's already V-band, so we're basically just going to build a piece that comes up like this, and still going to have a turn down on it. So I got the pieces already cut, a little pie cut, some bends, V-band flanges, everything. We're doing a few modifications to the exhaust, but as you can see here, it's just basically going to come up here, hanger here, and it's going to turn down here, so it'll still be very stealthy, but create a little more flow back here. Old muffler's out, and we've basically just made it a straight pipe on the back here. So the guy wants to be able to put the old muffler back in when needed, and it's just V-banded, so we can easily swap it in and out. So now it's time to get this thing back on the dyno. All right, we're tackling the boost a little bit different. So let's see what we can get out of this. A couple more pounds of boost, hopefully. Definitely sounds like a VR now. It might get crazy. More boost.
You need more?
We need more. I changed a bunch since the last time, so I didn't want to overdo it. So it made basically the same power as last time, but I had turned down a bunch of the extra duty cycle, so. But there is still a spike up top. Frog snacks, it's hot in here, Clayton.
Yeah.
So, lots of problems. Too big of a spring, and then realized that the boost controller was hooked up wrong, which is why the previous owner could never get a handle on the boost. So, now that we've resolved all these problems and have
wasted like a bunch of time.
Wasted a bunch of time. It's a smaller spring in it now, so I won't be as hesitant with, or I'll know at least that there's an issue if it's boost controller problem. Before, there was such a small window, small margin to have boost control, it was impossible
like 2%
to tell.
Would make a huge difference on a 20-pound spring.
We don't know. So anyways, that's all fixed now.
Perfect. So basically just starting back at base again.
Boost controller's on off setting, and because it's a VR, it's already hot.
All right,
and I've been working on it for like an hour and a half.
Alright.
So fans on, and we're ready to do it. I just need my pendant. I need my pendant. Okay, so after a lot of messing around with this boost controller, I have a pretty good handle on it after the last run. We're going to try to turn it up a little bit more here to see, for one, if I can keep boost control, and two, see if I can make a little bit more power. So, let's get to it. Alright, let's go. good. I basically have to ramp up on it because it's spiking really bad with this controller, but it's pretty smooth now. It's just, I'd say probably at 4,000 RPM, it's about 5,500 RPM. It's, yeah, I'd say between 4,000 and 5,000 RPM. It's probably about 5 pounds less boost than what it could be, but it's the only way to get control out of it. So we'll try to clean it up a little more and look at the logs and probably throw a little bit more boost at it yet. Okay, GoPro, we meet again. It's been another couple of pulls trying to still smooth this out. I think I'm on run number 45 to give you guys an idea how long it's taken to fix this problem. But we're making progress and we're making some horsepower. So we're going to try a couple more changes and see what this one does. Decided to turn the GoPro back on again to give you the live action. Okay, so I've sort of admitted defeat here with this one, on the boost controller side that is. I really like those AVCRs. They are super technical and they're older than me, probably, like really old, but there's a lot of functions you can do with them. I've had them in my own car. We've run one in Clayton's Mark 1. Once you get them figured out, they work really good. I have spent way too much time trying to get this one dialed in. So I've grabbed a gauge off the shelf, and which I'll show you how I have it all run in a minute. It's legitimately just laying outside the window and into the engine bay so that I can try another boost controller. So hopefully we'll make quick work of this now. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys what I've been dealing with this car. It's been a long battle, but I just wired in a additional boost controller to eliminate the one that I appeared to be having problems with. I just kind of laid it over everything. Also, the MAF housing seems to be an issue. So yes, the MAF housing seems to be a problem. I started tackling it now, but there's more work that needs to be done to try to rectify this issue. So we're going to continue on and I'll update you as we go further. Okay, so we're back in this VR Turbo. It's been a long hiatus, but we had the owner took it back, made some changes that we suggested. We did a few more things ourselves, hopefully trying to resolve the issue we're having, like over 320-ish horsepower. It's really starting to surge. So we're going to do one baseline here with just the boost controller turned off, just to make sure everything's in check from when we had it on the dyno like a month or so ago. Okay, so we've actually done 3 runs just to get a baseline. It's basically like 300 to 308 horsepower on gate, and the gate for this is looking like 13 pounds. So 300 horsepower, pump gas 91 at 13 pounds. So my goal would be to try to see around 20 pounds. Obviously keeping an eye on it, but once we got a bit over 300 on the previous setup, it started getting really erratic and out of control. So we're going to start turning the boost up and seeing what's going on. I play with the boost controller a little bit, and we're going to try to make a little bit more power. bigger camera here. Because if this works, I should only have a couple more pulls in it. It's doing what it's knock on wood.
What?
Back at it.
Yep.
This video is like,
Yeah, we have no footage of this car yet.
yeah, like over a 3-month period, probably.
I mean, it didn't
But
stay here the whole time.
It looks like we're like very close to having it hammered out, so a couple more runs and ship it, hopefully. We made more.
That's better?
We
Yelling.
made more. What?
I was yelling.
Yeah, I'm yelling too, yeah. So, 383.
383?
383 at
315 torques?
315 torque. And that was at 19 pounds, so
19 pounds.
yeah, we're gonna just look at the log, see if I can turn it up a little bit more. Boost falls off after like 5,500 RPM. Just a little tiny bit, so with this AVCR boost controller, I can change the duty cycle based on RPM, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more duty cycle up top to try to even it out. Then the old VR turbo, make some jam here. I went up a couple more percent on the duty cycle. Everything else looks good, so maybe 22 pounds. We should see 400.
Should. Alright, let's do it.
Ready? See what it can do here now. Pretty sure I say the same thing all the time, but it takes a lot sometimes to work through some of the issues, and this one has been steady battle. So, let's do it.
Almost.
It's teasing. It's teasing. So, oh, I hit the keyboard. I think it said 393.
Yeah.
Bogus.
Is this the one? 400?
Well, we hope so.
So the GoPro passed away, so you got any final words for this thing? Or?
No, hopefully it does what I'm asking it to do. The old VRs, man, they sound amazing, but without proper tuning and software and fuel, they have a hard time competing with the 4-cylinders in this case. Sorry, guys. Facts are facts. Brutal. Brutal. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna look at the log and I'll reassess.
So this is it. This is the last hurrah.
Yep, so it did 395 the other day. I think it was 395, saying in the video. And we were clearly trying to get the owner wants the 400, wants to be part of the 400 club.
But you can't end on like an odd number, right?
I
It's
know.
Like 350, 400, 450.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I get it. But I'm not touching anything else to do with boost control or water math, the time, nothing. I'm touching it, nothing else. So if it doesn't make it on this power, then it's not going to make it at all. So we're just we let it cool down. The last run was yesterday, the day before, and we just let it get basically cold and let it come up to temperature so that the intercooler and all that's not heat soaked yet, because the last time I was running it, it had been running for hours. So if it's gonna do it at all, it's gonna be right now. So,
do you want to talk about a couple things that kind of held us back in the past?
yeah, so the reason this one took a lot of time,
2 months ago now, but.
yeah, it had really bad boost surging issues, and the APEXI AVCR that's in it, a lot of people have troubles wiring them up and stuff. So originally we thought that might be part of the problem. I wired in another boost controller after messing with that for a while because it really was just making the boost very erratic. Tried that, didn't fix it. Ended up being a MAF related issue.
I can overlay some of the old footage of the old setup in there. We can go over and take a look at this now.
Yeah, so before it used to have the filter used to be directly on the MAF housing, and then the MAF housing directly after that went down to a 3-inch pipe, and then the turbo inlet is actually a 4-inch, so it was just a recipe for problems, and we were seeing it on the dyno. So we clearly fixed that issue because we had really good luck and were able to push it further than it's ever been pushed. I think when it came here originally, it's been a while now because it's been here for a while. I think it did like 315 or something like that. Clayton,
Yeah, very starting off. I think the first pass was around 315.
Yeah. So, we've gained almost 80 horsepower, I'd say, from where we started. Fixed a few issues, and
hopefully see that 400 mark.
Hopefully we'll see 400. Yeah. So the car's already up to temperature. You can probably hear it creaking and cracking. And we're just going to turn the fans on, open the door, and give it one last go. So I'm going to end the video now. You guys will have to watch to see if it makes it or not. If you have any questions or comments about this old VR Turbo, and it's all-wheel drive, and yes, it's on a 2-wheel drive dyno, because we have the Haldex disconnected.
Yeah, we'll do a video on that sometime,
yeah.
Just because there's a lot of people that ask that question.
They don't get it. So if you have any questions or comments, ask them below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next video.
Hopefully 5 more horsepower.
406.
Yeah.
Barely did it, but did it. 402.9, 317 torque. So that's it for this one. Good footage of it blowing the grill out. All right, let's see what kind of noxious amount of boost we can do this time. No idea what just happened there. This video is all over the place. That's why car. Forget all that. Let's try again. Right here, just. Apparently I don't know how to do this anymore. Okay, so this VR Turbo all-wheel drive Mark IV. Try that again. I said one more time. Gilbert! That's not mine! It's Mark's! Okay, GoPro, I'm talking to you like you're my friend. Oh, actually, GoPro stop recording.
GoPro stop recording.